Without using a calculator or mathematical table, you're supposed to simplify what we have here. Now, we shall start by rationalizing the denominator, and that is achieved by multiplying both sides, that's the numerator and the denominator, by the conjugate surd of the denominator. Now, the conjugate surd of the denominator is given by you taking the denominator and you change the sign that we have here. So the conjugate surd of the denominator will be the same expression here, but with this sign changed. So it will be 2 root 3 plus root 2 in brackets because it's representing one thing, which is a conjugate surd. So we multiply both sides by it. So we shall have what we are given up here is here. So multiply it by this one on the numerator and the denominator side, like that. So after we have done that, we now expand the numerator and the denominator. So for us to expand that, we shall split this first bracket as we maintain, or we multiply these terms by the second bracket, the contents of the second bracket. So that one will be equal to 3 root 2, this one here, times the whole of this expression, 2 root 3 plus root 2, then minus root 3 into the whole of this again, minus root 3 into 2 root 3 plus root 2. That's the conjugate surd. We do the same on the denominator. We split the first bracket. So we shall have this first term, 2 root 3, into the whole of what is in the second bracket, which is actually the conjugate surd. Then minus root 2 times the conjugate surd again. After we have achieved that, then we expand. So we shall have it being equal to 3 times 2 gives us 6, and then root 2 times root 3 gives us root 6 also. So for us to multiply whatever that is in the content, in the root sign, we maintain the root sign and multiply the values under the root sign. So we shall have root 2 times root 3 giving us root 6, and then 3 times the coefficient is like it's 1, so 3 times 1 will give us 3, and then root 2 times root 2 will give us root 4. Then we now come to this second part, minus root 3 times 2 root 3. You realize the coefficient here is 2 and the coefficient is like it's 1. So negative 1 times 2 will give us negative 2. And then root 3 times root 3 will give us root 9. You multiply what is under the root signs. And then minus root 3 times root 2. So here it's like it has a coefficient of 1, a coefficient of 1 here. So minus 1 times 1 here will be minus 1, which we don't necessarily have to write it. Then root 3 times root 2 will give us root 6. So negative root 3 times root 2 will give us negative root 6. Then we do the same on the denominator. We have 2 times 2 giving us 4. Root 3 times root 3 giving us root 9. And then 2 times 1 here will give us 2, so plus 2 here. And then root 3 times root 2 will give us root 6. And then we come to this one, minus root 2 times 2 root 3. So we have 2 times, like we have 1 here. So we have negative 1 times 2 giving us negative 2. Root 2 times root 3 will give us root 6. And then negative root 2 times root 2 will give us negative root 4. As I've said, we multiply the contents that are under the root sign when we want to get the product of the surd. Now we simplify whatever we have found. So we shall have 6 root 6 maintained, and then 3 times root 4. We know the square root of 4 is 2. So we cannot leave it as root 4. We have to simplify it. So we shall have it as 3 times 2. Then minus 2 root 9. We cannot simplify. Sorry, we have root 9 here, which you can get the square root. It has a definite square root. and that is 3. So we shall have minus 2 times 3, and then minus root 6. On the denominator side, we have 4 root 9. We know there is a definite root for root 9. So we shall have 4 times the square root of 9, which we know is 3. So we shall have 4 times 3. Then plus 2 root 6. We cannot simplify that. Then minus 2 root 6. And then minus root 4. We shall have it as minus 2, because we know the square root of 4 is 2. So we shall have minus 2. Then we simplify it further. So we shall have that being equal to 6 root 6. And then this times this gives us 6 minus 6. So they cancel. Then we come to this one. We have negative root 6 over 4 times 3 is 12. And then positive 2 root 6 minus 2 root 6, they cancel. So we have this one remaining negative 2. Then we simplify it further. If you look at the numerator, this is like if we had 6x minus x. So we should have said 6x minus x is equal to 5xy, because it's like the coefficient is 1. So we subtract the coefficients and we maintain the x's. Now instead of x we have root 6, so we shall have 6 root 6 minus root 6 being equal to 6 root 6 minus 1 root 6. So in that case we shall subtract 6 minus 1, we get 5. Then we maintain the root sign, root 6 over 12 minus 2 gives us 10. And then at this point, 5 cancels here once, it cancels here twice. So that will be root 6 over 2. That is the answer.